The next GitHub feature we'll cover are gists. So GitHub gists are a very simple way to share code snippets. If you're familiar with something called Pastebin, it's a very similar tool. It allows you to basically copy some code into a gist and then save that and share it with other people or refer back to it later. You don't have access to all the GitHub repo features, but you have access to some of them, like forking, for example. So I'll just demonstrate it. First, to access gists, not over there, over here, if you go to GitHub, I go to gist.github.com. Now, I'm sure there's a button somewhere. I think it's actually, if we go here to your profile and then your gists, I think that's the easiest way to get there. Maybe there's another way without just typing gists.github.com. So it's a different page, right? We see my personal list of gists, actually. I don't use them very frequently on this account. Most of these are from when I was teaching lectures, but I could just show you one. Let's say here was some exercise I made for students. So this is an HTML file. Okay, so there's this HTML file. I don't remember what this exercise was, what I was asking students to do. But there's the ability to leave comments. I can personally, delete this file or edit this file. I can download it. I can share it with people. They can fork it and star it. So I'll show you, if I go to all gists, I can see a discovery page. So these are gists that other people have made. So they range from markdown files. Like, I don't know exactly what this is. It looks like some sort of checklist for turning in work, maybe, on GitHub. So there's whoever this person is made that gist, and it's public. But here's another one. This looks like some sort of iOS script. So here's a Swift script. There's 2 files, which we can do. And then you can make private gists as well. So I use these when I'm teaching to share stuff, but you'll see them occasionally, like on Reddit or different web pages. People will share code this way. A full GitHub repository where you have to push up and set up your remotes and all of that can be annoying. This you can do very easily. So if I want to make a new gist, it's just a matter of clicking the plus sign here, and then I enter a file name. So what do I want to share with somebody, or what do I want to store in a gist? Well, actually, here's a gist I've been using personally as I'm making this course, where I've set up my computer to have 2 different GitHub accounts, and it's been kind of frustrating to have to switch between them. But this is a gist that somebody made to share. This person, Owen Nguyen. I am very sorry. I'm sure I completely butchered that. Anyway, this gist talks about having multiple GitHub accounts, wanting to use them both on the same computer, how to set up your SSH config file, which is exactly what I did. I followed these instructions, how to add the 2 private keys, how to test your connection. And then it allows people to discuss and, post about their error messages or other suggestions. So this is very, very useful. It could have been a full-fledged GitHub repo with just 1 file in it, but a gist is more appropriate. So if I wanted to just try recreating some of this myself, this happens to be a markdown file, right? So .md, a lot of gists are markdown, but they can be any file extension. I'm just going to copy this to show you. I'll delete this. I'm not plagiarizing his work. Okay, so I can now name this. I'll call this, I don't know, GitHub. How about multiple GitHub ssh.md. And if I do that .md, it now highlights it as markdown. And then I can choose to create a secret gist or a public gist. I'll just create a secret one. I can add a description. I'll create it. And now I have this gist that I can come back to at any point. And that's pretty much all that there is to a secret gist. I can edit it. I can write some comments. I can also have gists, I believe, within the company that I work at, and share gists with people, keep them secret so they're not public facing, but have collaborators. I can edit. Whoops, that's just the raw. I can edit this way. I can even add files. So I could add some other file, like a JavaScript file, and it will highlight it as JavaScript. Hopefully you can see that. I guess it's a bit small. There you go. So it's getting JavaScript syntax highlighting. And that's kind of all that there is to gists. So this one, again, is secret. It's private, but I could make a new gist and instead just make it public here. And anybody could see that on my account, and anybody can see anybody else's public gists. As you saw here, there's this discovery feature. I never ever really use this, I guess, except for this video where I'm showing you it. It's pretty rare that I just want to stumble across random gists. Anyway, that's all there is to GitHub gists. You can have multiple files, different file types, different extensions. You can share them. You can keep them secret. They are, I believe, behind the scenes actual Git repositories, although they don't expose the same features on GitHub that we normally have access to with a full-fledged repo. But we can see revisions. We can see diffs. So there is a history here, but they're just very slimmed down. The actual interface is very streamlined compared to a full GitHub repository. So that about wraps it up for GitHub gists.